When it comes to power rankings, there's pretty much only one name that everyone looks out for, and that's Twomey, and he has released his power rankings in the last couple of days for September. So we thought we'll go through that just to continue on the series of ranking and talking about power rankings. Again, power rankings don't equate to draft order or where they're being put in a mock draft. I know Cal's very big on that. So yeah, let's not confuse what we're about to see with where they're going to be drafted, but Cal's insights and knowledge is obviously second to none, very, very good at what he does. So it's always fascinating to see where he ranks the players on his list. So we'll bring up the list now. So Cal Twomey's list, number 1, Will Dersma. It kind of feels like now the Dersma is almost universally recognised as the number 1 pick or the number 1 prospect. I know it's a power ranking, not a mock draft, but everyone's ranking him at 1. Everyone's putting him in their mock draft as 1. And what you hear out of West Coast, it seems like they're very keen to go for him at 1. I guess the caveat is, does another team want to try and trade up to get him at 1 first? So there could be a little bit playing out in that space, which will be fascinating. Zeke Hewland at 2. Duff Tyler at 3. Again, such a polarizing player in a lot of ways. But I suppose the more you read about it, the more you think he will sort of land in that top 2 again, assuming that West Coast do get the second compo pick. I still don't think he'd be right for Richmond personally if he does get to 3 and 4. That's just my view, and I know there's a lot of counter arguments against that, and that's okay. I just think it's a timing piece for us, and just given the amount of tools we drafted last year, he wouldn't be able to fit in and play forward as much as we would probably want or like, or it will be at the expense of one of the other highly rated kids we just took last year. It just doesn't quite add up for us at the moment, I think. But I could most definitely be wrong. He's got Dylan Patterson at 4, Daniel Annabelle at 5, who are both obviously going to go academy-wise. But number 6, he's got Sullivan Roby. So if we consider the open draft or the open power rankings as something to talk about rather than the academy side of things, he has Sullivan Roby ranked number 3 out of all those open drafts. So Roby being at 3 in an open draft scenario in a ranking sense is probably the highest I've seen. But I guess other people are going to be having him up there higher and higher when you start to learn he played through the collarbone injury. Obviously, there's some testing and stuff to come as well, which may make these fluctuate. But it's just interesting how high Cal rates Sullivan Roby. And I mean, I guess you see a lot of commentary about, has it just been a flash in the pan in the last 3 or 4 weeks? But he was playing good footy at Roeville that got him noticed to get back into the Rangers program. So he's actually been playing good football for a while. Obviously, the height side of things changed substantially through the course of the year. And then the positional piece obviously added into it at the end as well, playing more midfield time. But I think his body of work has probably been there over the course of the year, but it's now just happened in different parts of the ground and looked a bit stronger in different ways, I guess. But he's going to be fascinating. And Xavier Taylor at 7 on the ranking list as well. Now, I know I said this, it's a power ranking and it's not necessarily a reflection of a mock draft, but with all the scuttlebutt going around at the moment, it does feel like that if Richmond do go to the draft with 3 and 4, it feels like that Roby and Taylor could be the 2 names that we read out, on the assumption we don't split a pick. And if those 2 are there, as a Richmond supporter, I'd be quite happy to walk away with both of those names. Sullivan Roby, we obviously have seen a lot of, and he'll come in and bash and crash straight away. I've seen some knocks on his foot skills. I don't quite get it. From all the passing that I've seen, he's pretty lazy-like. Hit Ollie Greaves up plenty of times in the prelim final, which was really nice to see. But Xavier Taylor has probably been one that we haven't necessarily been linked to or spoken about a lot as Richmond supporters, up until maybe recently. Xavier Taylor had a really good grand final for Eastern as well, so they actually are teammates. And I guess the reason why we may look at him is probably on the back of Vlosten obviously having maybe 2 or 3 years left. Broad, we know, is retiring at the end of the year. So that's where I guess there could be a slight need or temptation to go for Taylor. And again, it may not be a popular one, that people may view the outside speed factor with Sam Grill and things like that. I still feel like Grill might be a slight reach at that pick, but Xavier Taylor, 191 centimetres, intercept defender, takes off the dangerous kicks, running the 20-metre sprint in under 3 seconds. So he still has the speed factor. It just might not correlate it to being a midfielder, but pace is pace, and I think we can still utilize that. But yeah, does the intercepting role really, really well. So I think he'll be someone of interest. And I guess the other caveat as well is we've also got Josh Gibcus coming back into the fold. We think Tyler Young might be traded potentially. But with Gibcus, the big unknown is how he's going to go mentally getting back into it. Will he get back to the peak of his powers? I don't know. But looking past that, Xavier Taylor, Luke Traynor backline kind of seems all right. I don't mind the look of it. I think they both play very similar intercept attacking styles that could really help set us up for the future. So, they could be two names we hear on draft night, Tiger fans. Back to Cal Twomey's list, though. Harry Dean at 8. Dyson Sharp at 9 in the power rankings. Again, just such a polarizing player. Where he ends up on draft night is going to be absolutely fascinating. There's so many staunch Dyson Sharp supporters, and rightfully so. His champs are amazing. Feels like an absolute sure thing for a lot of reasons. But in a lot of other sort of areas, power rankings, drafts, whatever you want to call them, is finding himself a little bit further down the order. Is it because all of his form was like this long ago now? There's some new flavors of the month. Are we forgetting how good he actually is? I don't know, but it's going to be highly, highly anticipated where he falls. Number 10, Aiden Schubert. Number 11, Josh Lindsay. Again, another one who's going to be in that same sort of boat as Dyson Sharp. Really fascinating. Like we've spoken about earlier, great kick of the footy, which we'd love to have at Richmond, of course, but just the defensive side of things does worry me a little bit, and I really do think that Roby and a Taylor would be a much better option, I think, at this stage. But I will cop the counter arguments 100% about Lindsay's ball use. I get it, and it is attractive, but I'm just trying to think in totality and for down the track too. It's a really tricky one. Jacob Farrow at 12. Here's another one that could play halfback. He's a really good kick, nice left footer. Is he as good a kicker as Lindsay? He can be. So the WA factor obviously plays a little bit of a part, I suppose. But again, I think we should show no fear in that. Would he be someone we'd take at 3 or 4? I don't think we would go that high. But if a split pick comes into play, someone like Jacob Farrow, I think, sort of enters the equation. Sam Grill at 13. I know he's the one that everyone is kind of wanting because of what we saw at VFL, and I don't disagree with what we saw at VFL. The question for me is still, does he justify a 3 or 4 pick? Again, if the split pick happens for whatever reason, he's another one that would come into the equation. There's so many options. It's crazy. Mitch Marsh at 14. Sam coming at 15 was really interesting for me. From a ranking perspective, again, that doesn't necessarily mean that Cal thinks he's going to go at pick 15 in the draft. It's just where he ranks him. Teams higher up the list might rate him from a needs perspective, and I think would be one of them. I really do think that we have a need, or I could see us drafting a Sam Cumming. I think he does add something to the midfield. He does have that speed, maybe not electric speed, but he's still quick. So yeah, he could be one that's on the board for us too. Ollie Greaves at 16. Javan Philippou at 17. He's a wild card. Again, split pick, it's the catch cry, but he would be another one that you would consider. And even with the Tyler Young pick, if hypothetically Young gets traded, I'm not sure what the pick looks like. And if, Philippou might go really early, he might slide out into the 20s or 30s. Same as Harley Barker. A lot of luck is needed for that. Let's make that clear. But if they do, then maybe we can help out there. Or if we're trading with a Hawthorn or an Essendon, maybe we're getting, let's use Hawthorn for the example, maybe we're trading pick 4 to Hawthorn for pick 8, and I think they've got, is it pick 22 or something around that mark? Then you could maybe use that on a Philippou or something like that. So there's options there to sort of get extra additional picks at that end of the draft to try and pick up another player that could help bolster us from an athletic perspective anyway. Lockie Doverston, 18, who was another one that I have heard we have liked and we are thinking about, but again, where he falls on our list, I don't know. Noah Hibbins-Hargraves, I've always liked and thought we could pair him with Taj Houghton. I thought he'd be a good combination. And then rounding out Cal's top 20 is Oscar Taylor. So there you go. That's Cal's top 20 from September. Power rankings, not mock draft order. I'm sure he will do that as it gets closer to the date. But it's just interesting to see some of the names in slightly different spots to what other people have had. And this is the beauty of it being, or turning into a more even draft, that there is a lot of variation and it's going to be fascinating. But for the purpose of answering a specific question, how would everyone feel from a Richmond perspective if we were to take Sullivan Roby and Xavier Taylor with pick 3 and 4? Would you be happy with that as a walk away from the draft, or would you rather someone else in that spot? I think I know the answer on Roby, so it's probably more Taylor that I'm asking about. But let us know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe for more draft content, and we'll see you for the next one. Go Tigers!